Hey family, this is Andre Melton, the executive producer and one of the founders of The Flex Zone. Make sure y'all come out July 14th at 7 p.m. as we have a live broadcast. Yes, y'all, The Flex Zone will be live from the Hotel RL in Baltimore. For more information, go to our Facebook page, The Flex Zone, or go to Instagram and Twitter at The Flex Zone 1, or send an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com and come on out and support us, y'all.
It's about that time. Time for the Flex Zone, people. I hope you missed us. We're the Flex Zone, one place you get your sports how you want it, when you need it. I'm the host, Mikel Ramos. Your usual suspects in the building, as they are all the time. Dre, Cravante, Byron, D. Hello.
Hey.
What's going on?
What's good, people?
Again, we are the Flex Zone on Fox Sports 1340 AM Hopewell. Go like us on our Facebook page, The Flex Zone. Follow us and comment on Twitter and Instagram at The Flex Zone 1. If you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send us an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com and subscribe to our ever-growing YouTube channel. Tonight's show, people, a little bit different for your taste, but got a little bit of something you like on both ends. First half, UFC. Second half, NBA news. NBA news and a cookout decision that will have you throwing your hot dogs at the TV, depending on how you felt about it. Anyways, joining us in our discussion is MMA Nick, and Rafael Esperanza will be here as well. Dre, UFC, it's on you, brother.
Well, what's good, everybody? What's good? Actually, it's just Ralph on the phone, but Ralph, start us off with UFC 200. We want to really get into Brock Lesnar and his fight at UFC 200.
Well, everyone thinks like for UFC 200 is like the big event for this weekend, but if you're sitting in Las Vegas, you not only have UFC fights on Thursday, it's on UFC Fight Pass, which you have a great card Thursday night with Rafael Dos Anjos defending his belt versus Eddie Alvarez, but you have 8 fights on Thursday night. Then Friday, you have the Ultimate Fighter finale with a nice female strawweight championship fight behind Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Claudia Gadelha, and then UFC 200 on Saturday. So if you're sitting in Las Vegas like I am, not only will you be at NBA Summer League games over the weekend and through all next week, but you had UFC Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But UFC 200 is what everyone's talking about. The card is just humongous. And for you Flex Zone listeners and fans out there, it's big for you guys. So you get to see Brock Lesnar in the ring, not it might be scripted. Who knows what's going on with this UFC 200 fight? But it's going to be very interesting. I mean, I think I kind of feel bad for all the undercards with the Cormier and Jones, especially now that pretty much everyone's betting John Jones to beat Daniel Cormier. But everyone's really interested in this Brock Lesnar-Mark Hunt fight. The public is betting Mark Hunt to beat him. I've heard from experts in the UFC behind closed doors that UFC and the fighters want Brock Lesnar to bleed and bleed badly, so he never comes back. So it's going to be very interesting. I think Lesnar goes. I think he goes down. I think both fighters are probably going to taste the canvas. There's no way this fight goes past the second round. Neither of them have defenses. I mean, if you watch Brock Lesnar's last UFC fight, he had no defense, and he was getting hit with jabs, and he got taken down, which is very rare. But the older you get in UFC fight, normally you get taken down a lot easier, and that's what happened last time. I would like to see Mark Hunt. I'm a big fan of him for UFC. He's done wonders for the sport. To beat Brock Lesnar, I think it's kind of a cheesy way that WWE and UFC did back behind closed doors, handshake. Now you're going to see cross promotions with UFC fighters being in at SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and then you might see other wrestlers try to take a stab at UFC. So I'm not a big fan of that. So for me, for my heart, I would love to see Brock Lesnar get his butt whooped. But it's going to be a coin toss. But I think when we were talking behind the air, there's no way this fight goes to the second round. Someone's going to sleep really early during that fight.
So with you're saying there's a lot of backdoor stuff between UFC and WWE. Why do you feel like they've made this deal?
Well, it's no secret that let's see, 5 years ago that they had beef. Danny White and Vince McMahon, they had beef because they were battling for pay-per-view buys and pay-per-view numbers. Now that WWE could care less about pay-per-view, I don't think their wrestling's on pay-per-view anymore, except maybe besides WrestleMania. Now they don't have to compete with that. So now I'm hearing that they're buddy and looking to expand and expand the rosters. Now that you see wrestling going to 2 live shows, they're going to need more spunk, more the wow, I can't believe that happened on Tuesday night or Monday night or pay-per-view. And same thing with wrestling. It's no secret that they offered UFC fighters to come to this WrestleMania to headline something that would either help out a match or interfere with a match. That's no secret. Would not be shocked if CM Punk gets his butt whooped the next fight, that he comes back and maybe does another venture with wrestling and kind of counteracts. I think now with UFC and WWE not battling for pay-per-views, I think it's very smart business to cohese and bring different types of either matches or guest appearances that bring both viewers, which most viewers watch both. If you watch wrestling, I can guarantee you that person's watching UFC or vice versa. So for a business standpoint, it's smart. For a business standpoint, I heard this was a handshake between Brock Lesnar, Danny White, and Vince McMahon, and I heard the reason why Brock Lesnar is over here, so they can try to bring some other UFC fighters for WrestleMania to get that. I think that lust that we all thought WrestleMania didn't have that shock moment, didn't have that, wow, I can't believe he's there, or I can't believe that person got in the ring. It's just smart business, and now the word is coming out. I think once a month, it seems like I'm reading something that, this was in the works with Brock Lesnar and WWE and UFC. So I would not be shocked that you're going to see a lot more cohesive for both companies.
Let me take this one, Dre. You think Ralph, both companies see each other as competition, or because you seem like the WWE kind of looks at UFC a certain way and vice versa?
I think 5 years ago they did. I think right now, I think both companies they're still getting great numbers. They're still getting the money that they're getting, but it's not climbing like UFC was maybe 10 years ago, or what wrestling was maybe 10 years ago. I think they both realized that the numbers are flat. They're not spiking, but they're not dipping. But they need to push that button. They need to see what's the awe moment for each sport. I think if you ask any UFC fan and all that, there's no star in there anymore. Once Ronda Rousey lost, once Conor McGregor lost, and stuff like that, there's no one carrying that torch anymore that has that belt. Even if John Jones beats Daniel Cormier, he's not going to be that star because of what goes on when he's not in the octagon. So if you're a UFC fan, guy in the back, that'd be great to have Brock Lesnar or let's see, someone else come into the octagon or do something to promote both sides. So I think both sides are looking for that next moment to maybe boost their ratings or get that viewership that maybe I've talked to guys all the time that say, I used to watch wrestling, or I used to watch UFC. So I think they're trying to get back those people that say, I used to watch them.
Now, if Lesnar loses, how does this affect him in his match at SummerSlam?
Well, it's funny because tonight they were supposed to announce on SmackDown who his SummerSlam opponent was supposed to be, and then nothing was announced. So I just landed in Sin City, so I haven't really dug any research. I just found that out when I was waiting for my stuff to come in through the terminal. So I need to do some digging. I know I missed some emails and phone calls, but I thought for sure once I landed, we were going to hear Brock Lesnar who he was going to fight at SummerSlam. So I'm actually kind of shocked that has not been announced. I don't think it hurts him if he loses and then he goes back to wrestling. I don't think it'll hurt his brand or anything. I just think they can use it as more of a plug as a guy that's coming back to wrestling after doing a real thing or something like that. Now, unless if he gets just brutalized, let's say, for 3 rounds and toyed around, let's say Mark Hunt just drags around for 3 rounds, throwing jabs and making his face look like ground beef, then I think that could be an issue. But like I said, I think the fight goes quickly, and if it is a punch or a tap on and all that, I mean, Brock Lesnar loses pay-per-view matches in wrestling, so what's the big deal about losing a non-belt at a UFC event?
Now, you said about the WWE hasn't mentioned anything. Do you know why that may be the case as to why WWE hasn't talked about UFC 200 at all?
I think once WrestleMania, or maybe even I think they're just waiting. I know Conor McGregor. I heard there was really deep conversations when he said he was retiring from UFC, because he's really good friends with Sheamus. I heard he's really good friends with Triple H. They done some stuff, some promotional stuff, a lot of charity work, them to do some stuff together. I know there was a big interest, and even Conor McGregor said, "Hey, if they're going to pay me what Brock Lesnar gets paid to the fake wrestle, sign me up. Where do I sign?" He said that multiple times. I think you're going to see a lot of females going there, joining, maybe do a little cross promotion with WWE, because I think WWE and both sides really are starting to capture the female enthusiasts and the female viewers, and I think you see more like of that. I think of UFC going to WWE.
Well, I'm glad that you were talking about women in UFC, because Ronda Rousey was a big name with UFC, and then she lost to Holly, and then it kind of, since then you haven't really heard too much about Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, she's coming off a knee surgery, so I don't know when her next fight is going to be. I mean, she hasn't filmed any movies. I don't even know if she even started Roadhouse, which I can't even say the word Roadhouse without thinking of Patrick Swayze. I don't know how they're going to replace Ronda Rousey with Patrick Swayze, but yeah, she's been really quiet, and I think, and again, that's UFC hurting right now, and that. I mean, they banked on her so much, and then when Holly Holm beat her, they were counting on Holly Holm to carry the belt for maybe a couple fights before the rematch and promote her. And then her first fight, she goes down. Miesha Tate, who beat her, is not even favorites to win this next fight. So, like I said, here's another thing that UFC's hoping for, as I think that's why I think they like the cross promotion, as they can. I'm not saying UFC 200 wasn't being promoted big enough and all that, but now once they announced it, Brock Lesnar, it went to another level. No disrespect to Daniel Cormier and John Jones, but I mean, when they announced Brock Lesnar that was going to be on the card, it went to another level. So for them, that was just a huge plug. I was at UFC 100 when Brock Lesnar beat the crap out of Frank Mir. And that was like the biggest thing ever, I thought. I mean, Brock Lesnar winning was stomping, drinking a Coors Light in front of the Bud Light logo and stomping on it, and that's what UFC's looking for. So, again, they're just looking for something, and they don't have anybody in that company, so they went back to their old ways and asked Brock to come back.
Speaking of Holly Holm, I know she has a match coming up on Fox, I think, in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But if Miesha Tate somehow beats Nuno Saturday, and Holly Holm wins her fight, is that rematch coming up before Ronda Rousey gets her hands at the winner?
I would say it all depends on what's going on her rehab through her knee surgery. I would think they would probably have Holly Holm rematch, because they would really like to see Holly Holm get her belt back, because Rousey beat Miesha Tate twice already, I think. So yeah. That won't be huge. Pay-per-view, that won't be big hype. So I would hope if I was UFC and Danny White, I would say, hey, if Miesha Tate wins, rematch with Holly Holm, and hopefully if Holly wins, then we can go back to that fight of a rematch. If I was a suit to be in the back, that's what I'd be praying for.
Out of these 5 fights, which one do you think would be the one that'll be the one that steals the show? Will it be the rematch of Aldo and Edgar, or Flash Glass and Brown facing each other?
I think Aldo Edgar is up for a great match. I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out fight. It's 5 rounds, so I think you're going to see a good 3. It's going past 3 rounds. I mean, these guys don't go down easy. They can both take a punch. I think for that fight, for a featherweight, 5 rounds, I think that fight is just going to be outstanding. I mean, the Brown-Velasquez, if Velasquez, he's got powerful hands, so both can be knocked out. There's a fight that's probably not going to last long. Miesha Tate, Amanda Nunes. Granted, if it is a big fight, it would be an interesting one. I think the fans want to see Miesha Tate, so like I said, we can see that revenge match. But again, Brock Lesnar, Mark Hunt, the crowd's going to be ecstatic, but like we said before, I don't think that fight's going to last long. So if I'm looking for a fight to steal something, I think it's going to be Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo. That's the fight I can't wait. No disrespect for Daniel Cormier and John Jones. I think that John Jones easily wins that fight and wins that rematch.
There's rumors about UFC being sold. What can you elaborate more on that?
You know what? That's the $1,000,000 question, because I heard grumblings all over, and it's funny how every time they have a rumor come out, they said, "Oh, it's smoke," but everyone knows where there's smoke, there's fire. I think it's going to. I think it's going to be sold probably. I would say in the next year. If that guy's gonna get, if the Fertittas who own it now, if they're gonna get that type of money, I mean, why wouldn't you sell it? I mean, you can do, you can make up another sport league if you want with that kind of ridiculous money they're gonna get. I think there is. I think it will be sold. I would say in the next 365 days from now. There's just too much smoke going on. It seems like the last 2 months we've heard rumors and ridiculous dollar amounts. I remember 6 years ago when Vince McMahon wanted to put a stab at trying to buy it. What was the big rumor, and it wasn't even close to the money that they're offering to buy UFC now. So if that's the money I'm hearing, I would say 365 days from now, I would not be shocked if it's new owners.
All right, and one last question for you, Ralph. Kimbo Slice recently died. I just wanted you to touch on his legacy in UFC.
You know what? For me, at first, I'm not going to lie, I was not shocked. I'm like, oh, because, I mean, everyone knows his background. Everyone knows how he got his start. Everyone knew he had drug and alcohol problems. But for me, I had no idea he had heart problems. He was supposed to have heart surgery after his fight in October. For me, that kind of hit me a little bit hard, because I myself has gone through 4 heart surgeries. So for me, I was more shocked that I didn't know that about an athlete that I watched on TV, or I've done research on booking his fights, or putting up numbers. For me, I was more, after I found out how he died, I was more saddened than shocked. I was almost mad at myself for just thinking, oh, it was his lifestyle and drugs, alcohol, whatever. And then when I found out how, why, and when, I was more ashamed that I thought that first. And then I started really digging into his life and his procedures that he had done, and I couldn't believe he needed to have another surgery after his fight in October. So for me, it was almost like an eye-opening. Like I always tell myself, try not to judge a book by its cover. And look with me, as soon as something happened, I judged the book by its cover, and it bit me in the part of my French in the ass. Because I felt really, really bad about myself that I judged too soon upon knowing all the ins and outs, and I was more saddened for that, and I still am. I mean, I've done a lot of reading after he passed. I loved watching his fights on YouTube. I mean, I've never seen a guy that can take so many, not just jabs to the face. I mean, we're talking roundhouse uppercuts and haymakers back in his heyday, and not even flinch. It's one of those fights where you're a schoolboy and you punch the guy in the face, and the guy doesn't nudge, and then you start running. I mean, that was Kimbo. I mean, he would take so many punches to the face and didn't even nudge. So for me, that one hit a little bit hard, because I had to learn a lesson at the same time after his death.
All right. Real quick before you go, we're going to go through the card and see the odds. Lesnar, Hunt.
Mark Hunt is minus 170 as we speak right now. Brock Lesnar is plus 150. If you're looking to bet Brock Lesnar, I told this to a lot of people on the plane, a lot of people, my friends all week. Wait, if you're looking to bet Brock Lesnar, a lot of diehard UFC people want to see him bleed, want to see him get hurt. And like I said, Mark Hunt is a fan of the sport. He's never done. He's always been around. He's a fan favorite. So they want Mark Hunt to punish him. So if you're looking to bet Brock Lesnar, you could probably get a better price. If you're looking to bet Mark Hunt, I would probably get that now. Try to get that minus 170, because I would not be shocked if Mark Hunt is minus $2 and Lesnar's either plus 170 or plus 180.
Aldo Edgar.
Wow, I kind of like Edgar in this one. I think it's going over 3.5 rounds, and I think Jose Aldo, I think we've seen his best days. I think Edgar he's just so quick in there, and he can take any leg kicks and jabs and takedowns. His defense is really, really good. I like Edgar.
Vazquez and Brown.
It's a tough one. I like Cain Vazquez. I think he needs this fight. He needs it really bad. He has not shown well. I think he gets his anger out because he could be a heavyweight to contend with if he can just pile up some wins. I think Velasquez knocks this guy out early. I think Brown might be going to sleep sometime in the first.
All right. Tate and Nunes.
For me, for a fan and want to see that rematch and want to see a storyline, again, here comes my old wrestling back in the day of always looking for a better storyline. I like Miesha Tate. I want to see her win, and I want to see that rematch of Holm versus Tate because you never know what could happen after that fight. So for me, for a storyline, I'm rooting for Miesha Tate.
All right, and then the main event, Conor and Jones.
You know what? I've met John Jones many, many times, and he's like my Floyd Mayweather of UFC, just a guy that's just so arrogant and thinks that his stuff doesn't stink, and you need to do everything he asks you to do. The 2 times I've met him and I have dealt with him, would love to see him lose. I've never met Daniel Cormier, but I've heard good things about him. He's really nice. I love his stuff he does on TV. I think he's a great analogy. I think he's going to be a great addition to Fox Sports when he does retire. But I just think John Jones is going to be too much length, and I think he gets his revenge. And hopefully, I'm hearing he's had great workouts, and I've heard he's got his head on straight. If that's the case, Daniel Cormier is going to be in a long, long evening. I think John Jones wins.
All right. Well, Ralph, we want to thank you for coming on the show. Let the people know how they can reach you.
They can find me on Twitter at VSI DocSports. You can find me also at DocSports.com, also on Instagram, Rafael Esparza. And I'm so happy that I won't be able to talk Kevin Durant talk with you guys about NBA because my head wants to explode right now with all the stuff I had to deal with the last couple of days because of Kevin Durant.
Well, we want to thank you, Ralph, for coming on. As we go to break, y'all, answer our Twitter poll. Where would you prefer to see Brock Lesnar, in WWE or UFC? On the other side of this break, we will be talking about Kevin Durant. This is the Flex Zone, y'all. Stay tuned.
We're back. I hope that you enjoyed our UFC segment. Dre, excellent job, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm back in the chair, and if you want to reiterate one more thing, welcome to the Flex Zone, only place you can get your sports how you want it, when you need it, on Fox Sports 1340 AM. Well, now, before I do that, before I go into our next tidbit there, please, the Twitter poll, I'm going to say that again, too.
The Twitter.
Oh, yeah. What is it called again, D?
The Twitter.
Yes. Go there so you can answer the question. Where do you prefer to see Brock Lesnar? The WWE or the UFC?
Here comes the pain.
On the what?
Here comes the pain.
Anywho, this next segment might make people a little testy. NBA does that to people. Now, it was the 4th of July. Hot dogs, fireworks, baked beans, hamburgers.
It was fireworks, all right.
And
where the heck is Kevin Durant going? Dun, dun, dun. The cookout decision. Everybody was at the cookout waiting for that answer. Almost forgot it was Monday. You had an extra day off from work. Where was you? Waiting for that ESPN thing on your phone to come on to give you that alert to guess what, to tell you where Kevin Durant was going. And Kevin Durant does what, people? He goes to Golden State.
Didn't have to wait long either.
He couldn't beat him. He joined them.
Wow.
You can't beat him by God joined him.
He takes his talents to Golden State. People, 73 wins, very alluring. I, for one, thought that his loyalty would be to Oklahoma City. It was not. I mean, especially after the playoffs that they had. You thought he was going to stay one more year. Him and Russell Westbrook try one more time together. Then they separate. They separate and part ways. That did not happen. Cravante, why did that not happen?
Oh man, why did he not stay at OKC?
Why did that not happen? Unrealistic future, or it's time that I do what I need to do at this point in my career, and at least attempt to try.
I like that he did what he had to do at this point of his career. He's definitely still in his prime, but it finally clicked. He cannot win with Russell Westbrook, and I'm mad it took him 7 years to realize this. He had to get out. That's a toxic team, and he finally realized he can't get over the hump with him.
Let me interject for a second.
Oh boy.
Interject. Got the timeout sign. Excuse me.
All right.
Is that a full time? Was that a full timeout?
I thought this was 30 the one on the show is 30 seconds, right?
Because it wasn't the fact that he can't win without Westbrook.
He can't win with Russell Westbrook.
That he can't win with Westbrook.
Yes.
But it was just a matter of Westbrook is not staying with OKC. He made that clear to Kevin Durant before Kevin Durant made this decision. So I think that altered whatever he was about to do.
Now,
so he didn't even feel the need that he can win next year with Russell Westbrook as well.
Well, you know him and Kevin. I mean, Kevin and Westbrook, they're really good friends. So
off the court.
Off the court. You're right. Off the court.
But that's interesting you say that because
they said that's what altered his decision.
But that's interesting you say that because for so long they've tried to separate Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and they've become this package deal. You can't have one without. You can't have what's that? Married children. Yeah. You can't have one without the other. So, in all actuality, to see them separating now, I'm thinking they weren't. I mean, let's be real. Nobody expected Oklahoma City to do what they did last year in the playoffs. They were expected to get swept by San Antonio. They did that. And they were 48 minutes 3 times in a row to beat the champs, the 73. They had a shot at beating the 73-win team before Cleveland did and couldn't get the job done. I thought that was enough to make him stay. They got Oladipo. You throw in a guy like maybe Mike Conley. You get a guy that's a point guard that can just handle his business. He shoots, he scores when he needs to. How much can Russell Westbrook kind of sort of man down? But if Russell Westbrook understands the system, he can kind of sort of just be him in that system. You get the right pieces, you figure it out, you work it out one more year. No?
I think the beef is not him leaving. It's where he went to. He went to the team that beat him.
I mean, this is not, and joining us is our intern, Ty. I have to bring you in, Ty. Now, listen.
What's up, y'all?
Listen. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, this is the thing. Kobe, Kevin Durant, 2 different breeds, okay? Kobe was never going to go join Boston. No, I'm going to come back, try to go back-to-back, beat you one of them years out the way.
Kobe was the last of a dying breed.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a league where everybody's friends, their wives go on vacation with each other. They in the Caribbean living it up together. They trying to get this super team together with Chris Paul and LeBron and Carmelo, and they've grown up together in AAU since high school and college. Some of them ain't even go to college. This is to be expected, right, correct?
So, firstly, whoever had the bright idea to think that you would give up Chris Paul, to get Chris Paul to give up Kyrie Irving was insane. Just wanted to touch on that. There was no way that you would trade for a dude who can't keep up with Steph. But anyway, I digress.
True.
Because it's not like, in my opinion, because it's not like and to that point, I think a lot of people are trying to give Kyrie Irving total credit in the finals. Like he offensively murdered him. It's not like he played defense on him.
But he went at him every play. You got a bucket? I got one too.
It's not like he defensively held him down. Tristan Thompson did that. Anyways, go ahead.
No, he didn't.
We did have to work.
He did a lot of work.
No, he didn't.
Kevin loved this. Anyway, this is not about that. This is about
Kyrie didn't do a lot of work.
No, I'm talking about. We're talking defensively. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, defensively.
She's trying to give credit to Tristan Thompson, which is absurd.
I'm trying to give you credit. I'm trying to give credit to the big man. I'm not trying to give credit to Kyrie Irving. I'm giving credit to the big man.
It
wasn't him either.
I wanted to see that.
So what was
between Steph and Kyrie?
No, it was everybody.
Between Steph and Kyrie, it was what I loved. But let's get back on topic.
You digress.
And and excuse me for whoever's listening that may be offended. KD going to the team that beat him, sucker move.
Where's he gonna go?
You have shown if I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. You're better than me. Let me become a part of your brand.
Time out. Where's he going to go? We talking about he goes to the East, correct? He changes this whole dynamic if Kevin Durant goes to the East. You look at the West. He decides to stay over West where he wants to stay. What's the picking of the crop? Where does he pick? Where does he go? Byron, who do you pick? There's no
Golden State.
Cream exactly.
Right.
There's no cream in the crop. So in that actuality, that would mean he made the right decision because he had no picking.
He made the right business decision.
What is Kevin Durant after, people? He got the money. He got the shoe deal.
You got the shoe deal.
He got the fan base. He's actually one of the most loved superstars in the NBA. Still, in my opinion, the second best player behind LeBron James.
How do you feel about them burning jerseys, however?
Just people looking to get social media famous. It's nothing exciting. It's stupid to be asking me. You're making a fool of yourself. You played yourself, in the words of DJ Khaled. But anyway, back to what you were saying. If you think about it, if he's going after rings and you're looking at the best situation outside of Oklahoma City, it's clearly Golden State. Because what Durant brings to that team is a guy that in the clutch, when Steph Curry isn't making his shots or Klay Thompson or Draymond Green, a guy that can get his bucket from anywhere. You talk about an all-time great player, smooth, silky game. And one thing he does with this team, they're one of the best defensive teams as well. Kevin Durant adds length and as well with rebounding. Kevin Durant averaged 8 rebounds a game. Something Golden State struggle with is what? Rebounding.
True.
You lose Bogut, you get Durant who brings in 8 rebounds a game with Draymond Green. Also. Exactly. So
wow, yeah, the David West was
they
huge.
Built the team together.
And they need that. Not just outside of the aspect of all the shooting. David West, like, you love him. Like, he going to get dirty.
Not to only add that, there are rumors something they're talking about adding Ray Allen.
That's just unnecessary.
And they did add Zaza.
They did.
Zaza Pachulia, he fits in what they like to do.
Center.
And he can score on the offensive end. He doesn't just hang in the paint. He can stretch the floor, too.
Give me a double-double, you good.
Not to mention that, let's talk about selfless. Golden State Warriors are the most selfless team in the NBA. They don't mind sharing the wealth at all, and that's how they make their bread and butter every night. That's how they go out and win. Kevin Durant goes right into that round. Kevin Durant is not selfless at all. All he cares about is winning. He don't care how it's done, when it's done. Golden State Warriors put you in the right place at the right time. You do what you got to do to help us to win, and that's the ultimate goal.
It's a great business move, but it's a bad move for the NBA because now, once again, we're only looking at a handful of teams.
Okay, that's fine. Why didn't somebody veto this trade like they did the Chris Paul trade? Why don't we have somebody put their foot down on this one?
Because who is in charge? Who's the commissioner?
Yeah, I've seen a comparison where they said you allow this, but you won't allow the Lakers.
Who was the commissioner?
First of all, Splash Brothers, Draymond, and Kevin Durant is a whole nother level over Chris Paul, Kobe, and Dwight. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
No, it is, but I mean
that probably would have not even worked.
I would say
they wouldn't even have won a championship because they wouldn't have beat Miami.
It wouldn't have worked anyway.
Exactly.
We don't know that though.
Dwight was still the issue. Was still be a problem. Would he not?
Yeah, he's still a coward.
Exactly. It
And
wouldn't have worked anyway.
And the rest of that roster wouldn't have been as filled out as the Golden State.
Save a lot of heartache.
Lakers just spend money.
I don't think you can compare the teams. However, you can say this.
That's another shot.
By the Lakers not getting that trade done, it set their franchise
No,
back.
it didn't.
Jim
No, it
Buss
didn't.
has set the
Lakers
franchise
How did it
back.
not set the franchise back?
How did it?
Time out.
You talking about how did it? The
Let
Lakers
him
at the time,
let
Kobe
him
Bryant
go.
was still one of the
Let
top
him
players in the
go.
NBA.
You had Dwight Howard. Are you serious?
Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, and Kobe Bryant.
You're saying Dwight Howard like he was a big piece.
So you saying Dwight Howard was major?
He would have
He
contributed.
would not have. He would not have.
He would have
Because
had.
no, because Kobe's still on the team.
He would have had a
Kobe's still on the team. Are you serious?
He would have had a point guard to distribute.
Get out of here. No,
He
get out
still
of
had
here.
Mike
Kobe's
Brown.
still on the team.
Simmer
Paul
down,
Gasol
fellas.
was
No.
still there. What is
Dre,
simmer
Dre,
down?
No, not at all.
Simmer
Dre,
down,
this beyond
fellas, simmer
basketball.
down.
This
D,
beyond basketball.
you
now.
wanted the opportunity to give your Laker. You wanted an opportunity to give your. I'm a Laker fan. I don't even want that. You're a Lakers fan as well.
Terrible
D.
idea.
Me personally, why would I want to? I mean, at the point of the time that Dwight Howard was being picked up, he could have had. I mean, if you bring a big man to Laker lane, he had the opportunity to bring big man back in the league, but he's not. He wasn't ready for that jersey when he put it on.
He wasn't.
Chris Paul, you wanted to be a Laker. Who knows what you would have done outside of being a Clipper? And we all know when the lights are on, Chris Paul kind of sort of runs too. However, so Kobe would have been yelling at both of them collectively. So, anyways, D, you wanted your Laker rant. 5 seconds or less, sir. Floor is yours.
The Lakers opening night of free agency, they didn't go get DeMar DeRozan.
He wasn't coming there either.
No. They didn't get Kevin Durant.
He wasn't coming there.
No. The first sign of free agent was Timothy Moss.
He was coming there. He was coming there.
He was coming.
A bona fide scrub that was on Cleveland's bench because he couldn't run the fast break. He gets $16 million a year.
They paid for
That's
championship
Then they
experience.
get Lou Alding. That's
Awesome.
that's done.
That world, yes.
But yet it was Kobe's fault. The last 4 years they could not get free agents.
Scapegoat.
We're here now. Kobe is
Kobe
gone.
is
Kobe
gone.
ain't no more any more
So
scapegoat.
just
You ain't even heard any words
Jim
from him
Buss.
about the state of the
This
Lakers.
is the sad part. For the Lakers to even get free agents, they have to overpay for them, and they
Right.
bums.
bum.
Yeah, overpay for the
Bona
bum.
fide
You got to pay
bums.
for the bums.
You get Timmy Mozgov when you're desperate in free agency.
And you talk about setting a franchise back. You get Laurel Daniels play the same position as your number 2 pick.
Before we continue on with this Kevin Durant talk and this Golden State talk, let's talk about NBA free agency, shall we? Paul Gasol goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
Good move, but the Spurs still lack athleticism.
So who knows? and when it comes down to the boiling point to actually finish the job, the old men.
But they traded their most athletic big man, D, out of the Jazz.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And David and West is no longer there either.
Exactly.
Why did they lose? Because of athleticism and youth to a degree.
And at the guard spot, they don't have it.
Okay, let's move on, shall we? We all know what happened to the Knicks.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs now.
What did I tell y'all?
Chicago empties all ship. Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose.
Paul Gasol.
Yeah.
They
got Rajon Rondo though.
3 of your starting lineup.
That made no sense. Like everybody left. Like why did you?
28 million reasons why.
Yeah, 28 million reasons why.
I mean, you know, Michael Jordan used to say the front office in Chicago, if they're not a fan of you out of there. And that's if they let Phil go.
That's any franchise. Hey, Mark Jackson.
I mean, look what
happened. Guy Foreman up there in Chicago. It's either their way or the highway.
Hey, listen, Tom Thibodeau is somewhere dying laughing. Anyways.
He dying live in Minnesota right now.
They're coming out. He's not anywhere. He's in Minnesota.
They're coming out, folks.
And they're giving him power.
How other free agencies likes or dislikes?
The Wizards
misses or hits?
A big down.
Oh my God!
The Houston Rockets.
I am
disappointed. Who wanted to come to the Wizards? Nobody wanted to go to the Wizards.
I am disappointed. Absolutely.
Let's hear from the Wizard fans.
Why did you give this man Bradley Beal max money?
You know why? This is what I think. Give or take, this is what I think. I mean, you pride yourself on having one of the best backcourts in the NBA that can compete with anybody. I mean, it's John Wall, Bradley Beal. Now, Bradley Beal's was one of them dummies that you could stick and he gets injured all the time. No. He's one of them. However, at one point, people were saying, "Oh, the Wizards have two of the best guards in the East." Da, 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 da. So I guess in some way, shape, or form, they're really, really trying to expand and keep that content. I don't know why they're not giving. I mean, I don't know what they're not thinking, but I think they're trying to hold on to that in the hopes that they can keep everybody else fresh. I don't know what Nene's not doing. I don't know.
Oh, he's gone. He's got to be gone.
I don't know what. I mean, there's still more time. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that
the same problem that plagues the Lakers is plaguing the Wizards. Ernie Seinfeld needs to go, and I'm being calm when I say
listen,
he needs to go.
Listen, as a GM, I'm putting my GM hat on. Two types of players I don't play: one-hit wonders and injury-prone players.
Well, D, what do hurt guys do?
They stay hurt.
There you go.
I'm saying that Bradley Beal. How many games he played last year?
Not
that many.
Like 30?
Maybe 30.
Like
so in between 30 and
range?
40. And I can't give you max money after you just had a season.
Never consistent.
Never. I mean, trust me, Bradley Beal, when he's on the court.
How much more is he making than Wall? What was that stat? He's making how much more times than Wall? Than Joe Wall's making?
I forgot the exact number. He's making a significant amount more than John Wall.
And John Wall put his body on the line.
You know what? John Wall, it wouldn't surprise me if eventually he leaves the Wizards.
Oh, he's probably
getting that would hurt. And I would jump right back to this situation.
You think that he's
giving
not?
Bradley Beal all this money that I don't think he deserves.
Okay,
but the thing is,
and we pick up Jason Smith.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What's the other center from Dallas over the years? I'm Emi or whatever.
And Jan Mahinmi, who's playing the Pacers.
Y'all cleared all that cap space and didn't even get a meeting with
Kevin
Durant.
You feel bad for them?
Didn't even get it.
Kevin Durant did not want to have a meeting.
I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad because look at us the past 2 years. We have been looking like an attractive organization, and Kevin Durant wants a ring. He's trying to win.
You got to win now.
He's not going to change.
And please get out of a hometown hero. Not everybody's LeBron. Let's move on to Houston, shall we?
But now he's going to get us some flack because he's still a Redskin fan and he still be at the games.
Oh,
so that's not going to be pretty. So Kevin Durant, watch out.
That is a long flight, though.
Let's talk about Houston, shall we?
Mike D'Antoni players, Ryan Anderson, Eric Gordon.
7
seconds or less.
So won't be
you said you didn't like it. You said you liked it.
I didn't like it. I
that
hated
team's
it.
going to score, but they're going to play defense.
Well, they never play defense. James
I would say sounds about what
that's what they do best.
Yeah.
But they really did nothing.
They did nothing.
They
did something, but
they did nothing.
A little bit
for them, but for D'Antoni,
yes, that
so
system.
They did enough for them to stay
Ryan Anderson, Eric Gordon with.
Status quo with the 8th seed in the West? Nah.
They can just score. They're going to score 100 points a night.
That's interesting you said it. If you're going to put together the Western Conference right now, okay, matter of fact, Western Conference, Eastern Conference, top 3 right now based off NBA free agency.
East, you got Boston, Cleveland, and Indiana. West.
No, New York?
You gonna skip
No.
New York?
No.
Not yet?
Not
Come
yet.
on, yeah.
You giving them too much already?
Yeah.
gotta
give
give
him
it
some
to
time. Give him some time.
Yeah, give him some
No,
time.
well, she said everybody go around, so go ahead.
And then out in the West, you got goes Golden State, San Antonio, and the winner of the
good
Northwest,
question.
Portland. I say Portland. The winner.
Portland getting Evan Turner. That's a big pickup.
It is.
That's a great pick with Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum. That threesome. Look out for that.
Is it enough for them to do?
They'll get
You
back
asking
to
for a lot.
Look,
You asking for a lot coming out
Look,
the
it's
West.
getting up-
You asking for a lot.
Now the question is who's going to be that third team in the West? Because Oklahoma City falls out. You still got San Antonio, Golden State, but who's that third team? Is it the Clippers? We know you can't depend on them.
All right, what
So
are your
that third
three?
team.
3-3.
East, it's Cleveland. Second is still, I think, Toronto. Can't forget them.
Yeah.
Now 3.
They got
Now-
some confidence now. Does this make a difference
Now
in the year
another
next year?
Knicks move. They signed the center that played with Porzingis overseas today as well.
Really?
Don't forget that. I can't think of his name, but they signed him as well. So him and Porzingis have a history getting
Yeah,
Brandon
Jennings.
Jennings off the bench, going
Off
back
the
to New
bench.
York. Telling you now, him and Derrick Rose, look out for that. I just can't put him top 3 yet. It would either be Boston or Indiana. Now
If
the
we
question,
winning, I move B Jennings to the
yeah,
team just
but
to
the
see
Knicks,
how it works.
like I said last week, 5 seed at least right now.
Right.
What does a team
Knocking
like
on the floor.
Milwaukee falls in?
They
Granted-
might be around 8 seed.
Lottery, ping pong balls.
Let's see
Ping
what
pongs?
let's
Ping
yeah.
pong.
They coming.
But in
now.
the West, it's Golden State, San Antonio. I'm gonna go with the Clippers just because they retain a lot of their own.
Because they don't need to. They have everything they
Exactly.
need and cannot work
And if
with it.
everybody stays healthy, let's not forget Blake Griffin missed a significant amount of
Everything
time.
they need as far as what?
They're supposed to have all these guys that can do all these things. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin,
Blake Griffin
Chris
can't
Paul.
dunk forever.
You have all these people,
Overrated.
and they stay in the
I
same
agree.
spot.
Overrated.
I don't
So
trust
does
him.
Chris Paul
As
make
a team,
everybody
he's
else
your three,
better
Joe.
around him, or he's
My-
not
He's
enough?
doing the
Chris
best
Paul
dude.
is an awesome point guard.
Don't get me
But-
started.
He ain't getting no younger.
No.
Exactly.
But,
And who's he better than really? When you really line up point guards, who's Chris Paul?
He's better than
really
all of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Let's keep this
Everybody?
Yeah.
moving. Shall we?
Give me a pure point guard better than him.
Now,
You're a
pure
point guard. That's different
yeah.
because he does play.
I'm saying point guard.
I'm talking about point guards in the league right now. Period. No,
Who's he better
pure
than?
point guard.
I mean,
he is the best.
who's better than him?
The
He
sad thing
can't
is
keep
Chris
up with
Paul
that.
can't be the best player for him to go over the hump. It has to be Blake Griffin, and
Yeah,
that's the question.
you're right.
Dre, you're up.
Well, ain't DeAndre
All right,
Jordan.
in the East, I would say Cleveland. I agree with Byron when he said Toronto.
They still have that core.
And I gotta put the Knicks up in there. And then as far as the West, with what Golden State was able to do, of course they're going to be the favorites. San Antonio is always going to be around. Portland is my other
Yeah.
team. I really can't. As long as you have Damian Leonard, one of the best point guards in the league, and the things that he was able to do last year, I think he's able to build off that, and his team is coming.
Anything changes in this list, Cravante, or are you sticking to the same?
I like Cleveland, Toronto, and I'm not buying into nothing New York yet.
Me either.
Cleveland,
How
Toronto.
long will it take
and-
you?
Probably 2 years. Probably two more
Not
years.
even if they looking good by the end of All-Star break and even push into playoffs, you're not going to believe it.
2 more years. Cleveland, Toronto, and I have a Boston, Indiana thing going on. I'll probably get a slight edge to Indiana, even though I like the Al Horford pickup from Boston. And the West, I think the West is pretty clear. Warriors, Spurs, and I like Portland as well.
Same thing, Ty?
I'm going to throw Boston in there just because I love them to death, no matter what. West, I'm gonna say, you got to go with Golden State. Spurs. Yeah. Spurs. And
You ain't got that many options.
you don't got that many options. You don't got that many
That
options.
third
But
spot tough.
That is a huge drop off. So
it's a
you-
huge drop off.
huge
Because like
drop-off.
any one of them can pull
The
it out.
Lakers. I'm joking.
I'll
No.
never say that one.
No,
Let's-
God,
let's-
no.
But I'm gonna throw the Rockets in there and see what happens.
Boy,
I'm gonna go hard.
You reaching.
I'm gonna
Reaching.
go hard.
I-
I'm gonna go hard. Now, what episode is this?
Are they even going to get out the first
What
round?
episode is this?
I
How they
think-
gonna make the playoffs?
I was going to say that. I think
They will.
they seen
They
the
will.
lottery. I
They
think they
will.
seen the lottery, man.
Yo, you overlooked that James Harden. And here's what I
Oh,
hate.
here we go to James
You
Harden.
Say
know,
something crazy.
how I love James
Olay.
Harden.
Nah.
You don't give him the same respect because he's not Kobe, but he does things.
Nobody's
He
Kobe.
puts up
He
Kobe
puts up numbers.
He just doesn't win, just
Like,
like
yo,
Kobe did.
all right, I ain't playing no
Points, no
D.
D.
He puts
But
up
give me the ball.
points. He don't put up numbers.
He's
He puts
just
up
like Kobe
points.
in
Give me
those,
the ball.
those years after
Just give me
Shaq
the
left.
ball.
He's just
Yeah.
like Kobe with them. He
Just
puts
give me
up
the
points.
ball.
His team doesn't win. It's fine. It's great
Hey,
to
Kobe
watch.
played D.
Yeah.
Kobe
It's great to
played
watch.
D.
Great to watch.
Kobe plays some
Kobe
defense
was
now.
Kobe was the last of a dying breed.
Harden, Olays.
Let's talk about that dying breed as we move forward in this Kevin Durant decision. Now, I saw a post online. Kevin Durant at one point, why everybody out here trying to join the Lakers in Miami? We should be trying to, something to the degree we should be trying to compete them and take them out the way. You're young, 21, 21, 22. You say things. Why? Of course, that's what he was probably thinking at that time. I'm the young bull in the league. I got my boy Westbrook with me, James Harden, Ibaka. We building some type of steam in the Western Conference. Heck no. I don't want to play for Miami or the Lakers. I want everything they got. You fast forward. You graduate college to a degree in the basketball world. You win an MVP or two. You do some life goals. You do some searching. Things change. And things change to the degree where I need to do something different besides say those type of things. And maybe those are the type of moves I need to be making if I want my own legacy cemented. Some say hypocrisy. I think no. One person that thinks so, that thought his moves were outlandish, could not believe it. And Jamil Hill said it best. People, you can't, she said she thought the KD trade was right. You can't kill people. You can't kill them for wanting to get, you can't kill a star for wanting to get a ring, but you wanted them to get a ring so bad. Everybody want Kevin Durant. I can't believe I want him to get a ring so bad. And then you crying when he makes the decision that he makes. So, but one guy that was crying, woo, let it out on that.
No, he wasn't crying. He was
yelling,
screaming at Smith.
Yes, a 9, as a 10, as a 25.
That's where you at, baby.
Stephen A. Smith, ladies and gentlemen, did not particularly agree with Kevin Durant going to Golden State. Him and Chris Broussard had some words. Anybody who watched that, please, your take.
Cavante.
Oh my gosh, I don't. I only saw what Stephen A. Smith said by himself. I didn't even get to hear anything that Chris Broussard said.
Because he couldn't talk.
Okay. So we was on the same word.
Oh, they signed out with me on there.
Listen, Stephen A. Smith, please go sit down somewhere. Please, come on, man. Please, and we all know this is coming from a personal. This is coming from a personal place.
Oh, you can tell because they had a little spat.
Yeah. And KD told him about himself and basically told him mind his business because he don't know what he's talking about. And that's where all his animosity is coming from. Hey, we all have their opinions about it being weak or not. He made the best decision for him and his family, and best decision to get a ring. Exactly. By all means, and I can't go against that. And Stephen A. Smith, just calm down, man. I know Skip is gone. I know First Take about to take a dip, but chill out.
Your check's still clean.
Chill out, player. Chill out, player.
Facebook Live there.
Chill out, player. He was on Facebook, man. 20 minutes.
So nobody agrees
talking
with
about nothing.
What he said.
No. Don't get me wrong. To a certain degree, I get it. It is kind of it's a sticky situation going with the team that just beat you. But you saw the best situation. Who you gonna pick? Who you gonna pick? If the Warriors are on the list, who you gonna pick before them?
Exactly.
Obviously, they talked to him good enough. Everybody else's offers did not work.
Mr. Clutch coming through in the clutch. That late
night
once
again.
Why can't he be a Laker? I need it back.
Let's give a game ball to Jerry West and Andre Iguodala and the USA team members. They talked to Durant, made that late night pitch. Klay Thompson, a guy who's very soft spoken, apparently went extra hard for Durant. Said, "Hey, we need you. We need you to come out. We know about Steph Curry, but Klay Thompson may be the unsung hero. And you know Draymond, he gonna tell you how he feel. Right. He told him he wanted him here." And they got him. So Jerry West late night phone call, Klay Thompson, and having Draymond and Steph Curry, you already know he wants him. So
they definitely didn't do the Bill Belichick approach where he's not calling anyone.
The Lakers, we need Jerry West back.
You ain't getting
we do.
God, we need back.
Well, at least Ingram, he took over Kobe Locker, so maybe there you go.
Whatever.
God.
Let me say.
Makes me want to puke.
What are you come on, speak up here.
Unlike Cavante.
Oh, you don't. You.
I agree with everything that Stephen A. Smith said.
Of course he would. And why, Dre?
Because
of course you're different. Why?
Because as a superstar, to me, this is a weak move. It's the epitome of if you can't beat them, join them.
So where was you going to go?
You have better options in OKC.
Nope.
No, you didn't. You have no better options. I'm not giving you that.
I just stand
you.
That was
you can have that, but there's no better options. There's no better options.
Let him finish.
Did he sign?
Finish.
Did he sign a long-term deal with the Golden State Warriors? No.
No, but that's not what they do nowadays.
especially with the new TV deal next year.
Fellas, let him finish.
So if you were 3-1 up on the team that you just signed with, that means you maybe tweak some things, and that you have a shot at beating this team again next year.
I just
as a competitor, if I couldn't beat them once, all right, next season we gonna beat this team again. We gonna try this one more time.
Time out. Do you really think with the team that they have now? Yes, they did an excellent job in showing the world. They wrote the blueprint of how to beat the Golden State Warriors. However, do you think going back a second time where this Golden State team got a good look at what you did to them last year, they pick up a guy like David West, say they don't pick up Kevin Durant at all, they get what they need, you think that they would have allowed them to beat them again? Oklahoma City would have won this that time?
In that series, Billy Donovan...
No. Next year. Give your chance a shot to win it again. You think they had a shot to win it?
I said in that series, Billy Donovan was out coaching Steve Kerr for a very long period during that series.
Okay, Tyronn Lue did too. So let's come on.
What makes you think that he can't make the proper adjustments and do it?
Answer the question. They beat them this time again. Answer the question.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Dre, let me ask you something. People say this new, everybody joining up is new. It's actually not.
No, it's not.
When Robert Parrish went to Boston, that was superstar joining the team. When Will Chamberlain went to the Lakers, okay, bringing more for George Gervin, joining Julius Erving. You got the Boston foursome. You have the Heat. I mean, it happens. Players want to get championships. Dennis Rodman going to Jordan, your boy Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but wait a minute. We can't compare LeBron and taking his talents to South Beach to what Kevin.
Yes, you can. LeBron joined his best buddy.
What are you talking about?
That's good. You brought that up. Let's assess that. Wait, fellas, we got to assess that. We got real quick. We got what? About a minute left.
We don't got enough time then.
Well, LeBron taking his talent to South Beach. What happens with that move, and how does it relate to Kevin Durant's move? And what do we make of the news that Dwayne Wade has how many days to make up his mind on whether he wants to go to Cleveland or not?
Good. They never paid.
He got however long he want. He Dwayne Wade.
They never paid that man.
I would say whenever he feels like
well,
it.
I think I read that they gave him some sort of a time limit to figure out what he's going to do because
Pat Riley probably did that.
Pat Riley, yeah. Pat Riley's not going to kiss his behind.
The Godfather.
Pat Riley's not going to kiss his behind. What do we make of LeBron's decision and Kevin Durant's decision?
I can sum it up in this. Chicken.
Which one?
Both of them.
I don't find
LeBron didn't go to the team that beat
Boston, so he said, "I'm gonna go with Dwayne Wade." Kevin Durant wasn't beating Golden State,
but they're good business moves. Let's not deny.
No, I mean,
but what kind of moves can you make in this NBA that aren't business move and right moves that everybody would appreciate? Realistically speaking, where would Kevin Durant have gone to make everybody happy? If he would have stayed in Oklahoma City, they would have been crying still.
I think anywhere but Golden State because it's a weird situation. It's a weird situation. It's a weird situation to join a team that just beat you when you were up on them 3-1 and you were on your way on the verge of getting to the NBA Finals. LeBron's situation was a mixture of personal stuff and
so was Kevin Durant.
Makes it worse.
So was Kevin Durant with Russell Westbrook. It goes a lot deeper than people think.
And that TV decision thing.
I think he knew as a partnership it was over. Anyways, Twitter poll on.
The Twitter.
Whose decision to leave was worse, Kevin Durant or LeBron James?
Still LeBron.
We gotta go. There's so much more to talk about. This topic never ends. Next week we will be discussing the ESPYs. We probably will rediscuss the finals, and rediscuss this whole topic as far as Kevin Durant. Period. Come out. Next week's show is a show like no other. July 14th at the RL Hotel RL at 7 p.m. We go LIVE, people, live for your listening pleasure. We want to thank True Sounds for our theme song. Don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, The Flex Zone. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Flex Zone 1. If you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send us an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Flex Zone, people. Tonight's show is executively produced by Andre Melton. Our senior producer is Crevante Hurd, and our host is me. Our videographers are Bree and Sophia. Our social media coordinator is Terrell. Our engineer is Ty, whose voice you heard. Live show. July 14th, next week, Hotel RL. Let's get busy, fellas. And I'm going to say it like I say every week. I don't care if it rhymes. It's mine. I'm Mikkel, like Kevin McKell, and Byron. The show is what?
We gone,
baby.
Welcome to the Bay Area, KD.
Peace. Tell me where to go.
Sell out.
Bye, chicken.
Sell out.